Am I the asshole for shouting at my father and calling my stepmother a gold digger for kicking me out? Here is some background context before I go further. My father is 48, was never present in my early life as he and my mother divorced when I was very young, and he moved 6 hours away for work. But eventually we rekindled and were on good terms in my mid-teens. Once I graduated, my father asked if I would like to come and live with him. My stepmother is 28 and my older sister 24, to make up for the fact that I never really had the chance to see him growing up. I was hesitant as I had landed a very high-paying job straight out of school and was also planning on moving in with a few friends. My older sister had been living with them since she was 19 and said she'd like to have me around. So I caved, and just after my 19th birthday, I quit my job, canceled my plans to move away with my friends, and packed all my stuff into my car. To be honest, it was great living with him, but I struggled settling into the new town, making friends, getting a job, etc. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago and I've found a job, have made friends, and am dirt poor because I've spent all my money on a trip to Spain with said friends. 4 days before I leave, my sister suddenly moves out as one of her friend's roommates moved away, so she very quickly in the space of a few days moved in with her friend. All good. I go on my trip for 2 weeks and came back 3 days ago as of writing this post. The first day I was back, my father and stepmother were very nice and welcoming, picking me up from the airport, asking how it all went, wanting to see pictures, but after having dinner they said that they wanted to talk to me about something serious. They sat me down and explained that while they really like having me around, they loved having their own space and house to themselves more, and that they wanted me out in 3 weeks. They said they'd help me move my stuff and that I'd always be allowed to stop by. I was shocked and very hurt. I brought up that they wanted me to move in with them and that my older sister had been living with them the last 4 to 5 years. We went back and forth for about an hour arguing until I reached a boiling point. I just started shouting and told them how hurt I was, how it was bullshit that I moved away from home and lost a great job and opportunity just for this. My stepmother said that I was too old to be living with them anyways and that I was acting like a leech. I pay them rent and buy my own food, and so I told her that was ironic coming from a gold digger. After that they told me to pack my things and leave and that I wasn't welcome back, which I did. I'm now staying with my sister until I can find somewhere to stay. They haven't talked to me since, and my sister agrees that it was messed up for them to do. I get you eventually have to move out of home, but inviting me to live with you when I'm doing well and then kicking me out when I'm broke feels like such a betrayal to me. So am I the asshole for how I reacted? Edit. Sorry I wasn't clear. I've lived with them a year. They didn't kick me out as soon as I moved in. Happy to answer any other questions or miscommunications.
Am I the asshole for going on vacation without my children from a previous marriage? My ex-wife Kate and I have 2 kids, Mike 16, and Abby 14. We had a turbulent marriage and split for many reasons. It wasn't amicable and I had to fight for custody. Kate and I both remarried. She didn't have children with her new husband. I have 3 kids with my wife and also gained a stepdaughter. My stepdaughter's father left after he found out my wife was pregnant, so she never knew her father. When I came into their lives, I took on the role of a father figure. As far as blended families go, I am really lucky that we are all happy. My stepdaughter and I have good relationship and Mike and Abby love their siblings from my wife. The only person that is against my family is my Kate. My wife is black and this has been a point of contention since the beginning. Especially the fact that my wife is a very dark-skinned black woman is problematic to her. Kate, her husband and I are very white. Kate hates my wife and especially my stepdaughter. Her bio dad is also black. Kate's racism was one of many factors of our divorce. She has been mostly silent on my biracial kids even though they present as black. Thankfully Mike and Abby haven't taken over her racism. Because of this, Kate has been on a crusade, trying to make my family's life as difficult as possible. It came to a head last week. We were planning to go on a vacation abroad with the entire family, including Mike and Abby. Everyone was looking forward to it. Especially, my stepdaughter was looking forward to it. But Kate wouldn't sign the documents that would allow Mike and Abby to travel abroad, because they are minors. Everyone was really disappointed. It would be the first vacation abroad for my 3 bio kids with my wife. I then decided to go and book the vacation anyway, but without Mike and Abby. Understandably, they were not happy. Normal, I don't badmouth Kate in front of them, but I told them it's because of her that they can't go. This caused Kate to become really angry, saying I was prioritizing my new family and abandoning Mike and Abby. She somehow placed the blame for all this on my stepdaughter, saying my stepdaughter was taking their father away, also calling me a race traitor, which didn't make sense. This unleashed a shitstorm with every one of our friends weighing in, with some saying I am an asshole. Mike and Abby are pissed at me for not going on vacation, and placed the blame on me, after I deflected blame away from my stepdaughter. Kate calls me an asshole for going on vacation. I am beginning to think booking the vacation was a mistake. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for kicking my sister when she was down? I am 18, recently wrote my country's university entrance examinations along with my cousin sister M, 20 years old. This was her second time writing it after she wasn't satisfied with her results last year. Em and I aren't exactly close, but meet via family once or twice a month. My dad was always comparing me to my cousin. It was always, oh, your cousin is writing this math Olympiad, why aren't you? And OM's doing calculus, why aren't you? It felt a little unfair to me since she was older than me and a grade above, so of course, I didn't know WTF she was studying or writing. Fast forward to last year, Em fails to do well in the entrance exams and takes a drop year to try again. My dad says something along the lines of even Em failed, you need to work harder, and pushes me like crazy. I would be watching TV and he'd say, I bet Em's studying right now, TikTok. Finally, our results came out a couple weeks ago and I did great. Better than Em. She did better than last year but not great. Unfortunately, I won't lie to say I was super happy, and not just from doing well in the exams. I was happy cause I did better than Em and it felt like I finally was the better cousin. The event in question happened last week at my grandparents' birthday party. They congratulated both me and Em. After dinner we started talking about my future plans and stuff, and I mentioned what university I had decided to go to and why, when Em piped up like just absolutely shitting over my plans for no reason. We're talking the most passive-aggressive comments about my grades and how I got lucky in the exams. Apparently, she can't picture me in a lab or studying in university and always thought I'd pick something that suited me more, like becoming a teacher. No, hated teachers, but she said a bunch of stuff that implied I'm a stupid musclehead and not suited for academic stuff. Finally, Em outright said, you're going to flunk out anyway, so why not just clear the way for the deserving students? To which I replied that sure, I'd love to do that, and thanked her for her service in improving other students' ranks for 2 years straight and said keep it up. She got angry and asked me what I meant, and I said she sure was talking a lot for a 20-year-old neat living with her mommy. I did not stop there and we argued for a while. She started sobbing and her parents gave me the dirtiest looks. I got a lecture from pretty much everyone at the table, ranging from be more understanding to you need to get over yourself. Yeah, it may have been years of resentment built up, but I feel like it was the truth and she deserved it. I feel sorry for her, but I also kinda don't. Am I the asshole? Edit. You'll seem to think my fam's super abusive and treats me different, but actually we get treated pretty much the same. It's just that Em was at a disadvantage and clearly very upset, so I got the lecturing this time. As for why they didn't stop her comments, I just asked a few of my relatives and the responses were, first off, they wanted us to resolve our differences like adults and didn't feel the need to pitch in, and secondly, her insults can be loosely interpreted as jokes since she said them in a joking manner like she expected us to laugh, and no one had the heart to tell her to leave, cause it isn't uncommon for people that fail the entrance exam to off themselves over here, so people were walking on eggshells around him. As for my dad, he compares me to everyone we know, the neighbor's kid, random teen on the news, etc. I've told him I don't like being compared to him, and usually he stops, and yeah, maybe he's a bit of an asshole for not listening to me, but I don't care cause he's a wonderful father, and super proud of me. Am I the asshole for giving back everything my family bought for my son? My wife and I welcomed our son into the world early this month. Prior to his birth we had been given a lot of very nice clothes and toys by my parents for him. My mother-in-law also made some pretty incredible clothes and blankets. My wife, her siblings and their mom lived in poverty for a large part of her life. Their dad abandoned the family and left my wife's mom with a large pile of debt that weighed on them. So their life wasn't easy. My mother-in-law often made her kids clothes versus buying them because it was cheaper for her to do. She worked in a store that had a lot of fabrics that they were allowed to take the excess of. She's talented and always put an effort into making sure the clothes look good enough so the kids wouldn't be bullied. Those clothes are something my wife treasures. She remembers how much love and effort went into them. She also appreciates that her mom tried to make them work enough to blend in at school, that it saved them years of potential bullying. All these years later, and mother-in-law is still dealing with the debt. She does not have a lot, so she made some amazing clothes and blankets for our son. One of the outfits was even his take-home outfit. But then a couple of days after our son was born, she comes over with a bag of clothes she bought, saying she wanted him to have more. My wife and I were shocked. I could see she was upset and looked almost guilty, so when my wife went to nap, I asked her what was going on. At first she said nothing and she just wanted her grandson to have more. But then she apologized for embarrassing us. I asked her what she meant. She told me my parents had talked to her after the baby shower and told her she had left all the grandparents spoiling to them, that she should understand if we never put our son in any of the clothes, because really, they look like the kind of homemade clothes from 70 plus years ago when people were left with no choice. They accused her of not caring enough. I told her I was so sorry they had said that. I assured her I had never said anything like that to them, that my parents had no idea what it was like to have nothing and were being judgmental assholes. I even convinced her to take back the clothes she bought and return them to the store. I then gathered up everything my parents gave us and went to their house. My parents didn't even try to deny it when I confronted them. All they did is look down on the effort she put into them. They said we couldn't seriously be okay with those being the only gifts. I said we were, and as far as I was concerned, they were the only truly generous gift he got, and I told them it was their gifts I was embarrassed of. I gave them the stuff and told them we were no longer accepting the gifts or them after what they did. They are furious, saying I reacted way too harshly and saying it's an asshole move to return gifts. I'm furious with them too. Am I the asshole?